Welcome to The Tread. My name is Dallas and I'm the parent of 2 autistic boys. Today I want to talk to you about how to get your kids to do chores. No matter how many chores you finish, there's always more to be done. Sound familiar? I got to a point where I said to myself, I'm sick of doing all this on my own. I need to get my kids helping out and doing chores around the house. After all, as a member of the family, everyone needs to contribute, and it's an important life skill. Then I thought about all the help, supervision, and prompting that my boys would need to complete chores. And I thought, this is just too hard. I may as well do it myself. I asked my daughter about doing chores, but I got the answer, the boys don't have to do chores, so why should I? Fair enough. So I had to put aside my doubts and devise a strategy to help teach the boys how to do chores around the house. With the help of the boys' therapist, we came up with 3 simple chores for each boy. For example, Jet took out the rubbish, unloaded the dishwasher, and set his place for dinner. And Ash took out the recycling, took the clothes basket up to the bathroom, and set his place for dinner. It depends on their level of skill and attention span as to how easy or hard you make the chores. You can start with just 1 and add more as time goes on. I also made a visual list for each boy so they knew what they had to do. We would mark each one off once they completed that task. These were all chores that had a clear end to the task. If a chore is too open-ended and there's not a clear end, it just causes frustration and makes it hard for them to complete. For example, tidy the room could be a bit vague. Does that mean pick up all the toys, the books, and the clothes? Do they know what tidy even means? It would be better to say pick up all the clothes off the floor and put them in the basket, or pick up all the books on the floor and put them back in the tub. So yes, to begin with, there was a lot of prompting. Pick up the bin, come outside, open the lid, put the rubbish in, and so on. So yeah, it was a lot of work to begin with a lot of verbal protesting from them and just as much redirecting from me. But over time, they got the hang of it, and using an iPad or TV as an incentive certainly helped. In the beginning, Ash really struggled with setting the table. We would begin by telling him to get the plate, a cup, and a fork, but he just couldn't seem to process it. I then made placemats so he could match the item to the photo. So I would point at each different item, plate, and then take him to the cupboard. But by the time he got there, he seemed to forget what he was meant to be getting. So then I made a cheat sheet for him. I would point at the item on the placemat, then lead him to the cupboard. Then I would point at the plate on the cheat sheet and the plate in the cupboard. It took months, but eventually he was able to point at the plate on the placemat and then go to the cupboard and get the item and finish setting the table. Now he no longer needs the cheat sheet. He still uses the placemat as a prompt, but is able to get all the items and set the table himself. So sometimes we had to break the chore down into steps to make it more achievable. The goal should always be that they feel a sense of achievement once they finish the chore. Along the way, there were some chores that the boys found really hard, so we had to change things around a bit to make it more achievable. For example, Ash had to put away the family shoes into tubs. Our shoe storage was a horizontal shelf on the floor that we would sit on to put our shoes on. He had to get up and down off the floor to get the shoes and put them away in tubs. Ash really struggled with his balance and he found this really frustrating. He would put the shoes in any tubs, so he put each family member's photo onto the tubs. But we still had to constantly prompt him as to whose shoes he was putting away and into which tubs. He was really struggling as to what he was meant to be doing and why. I don't think he knew whose shoes belonged to who. Looking back, it was a rather ambitious task. There was no clear end to it, and it just frustrated him. As a result, he sometimes lashed out at whoever was supporting him to do the chore. We realised the task had too many parts to it, and we had to make some changes so that it would be more achievable for him. So we added the task to his unpack bag routine, and he only had to put away his shoes. This made a lot more sense to him because to go upstairs to put his bag away, he had to take his shoes off anyway. We also changed the shoe storage from horizontal to vertical, so he was getting up and down off the floor less. Now he puts his shoes away at other times of the day unprompted. On the boys' visual schedule, chores happen before TV in the evening, TV being the incentive to get them done. This worked really well for Jet, but not so much for Ash. It just wasn't enough of an incentive for him. We were spending so much time redirecting and prompting, chores first, then TV. We even tried waiting him out, and if dinner was ready before he'd done his chores, well, he didn't get to watch TV. This didn't seem to bother him that much. So now, chores are done as soon as they get home from school and before they get their iPads. iPads are a much more desirable incentive. There's still some resistance depending on the day they've had, but the chores get done. I would suggest starting with one simple chore and making sure it's got a clear end point. For example, taking the dirty clothes basket to the bathroom or taking out the rubbish. There's a purpose and a clear end to both these tasks. With time and repetition, they will get the hang of it. And the goal is that one day, they will be able to do it independently. They won't always do the chore the way that you might, but as long as they can complete it, that's okay. When Ash first started unpegging the clothes, he would take all the pegs off first and let the clothes just fall to the ground. He would then pick up the clothes and put them in the basket. So same outcome, just a different method. Over time, he's worked out how to coordinate taking off the peg with one hand and grabbing the item of clothing with the other. So where you might be focusing on getting the chore done, it's good to let them have a go before intervening. You may just need to modify the task a bit or give them some more time to work it out. To start with, there may be a lot of prompting and doing the chore coactively, but be patient and with every step praise them and at the end say, thanks for doing that. It may seem like a lot of work to start with, but if they can end up doing it themselves, how great is that? My daughter is also a lot more positive about doing chores now that the boys are doing some every day. Bye! I'm off to, you guessed it, do some more laundry.